G'day folks, welcome to the slotmein factory. Today, a little demonstration of the Aussie Inferno fire tongs, which I have here in my hand, also known as the Inferno tongs. Now, if you own a fire pit, a chiminea, a fireplace at home, you can't be without a pair of these. Well, just one of them actually. They're sold as individual items. So, the Aussie Inferno fire tong from slotmein is a very unique, simple one-handed tool that basically does everything around a fire. It's a fire poker. It can be used to lift or maneuver firewood on or around in that fire. It lifts a conventional camp oven up by the ring steel handle. It takes the conventional camp oven lid off with its casting little hook, which we'll demonstrate later. You can use it to lift spuds off the fireplace, remove charcoal. You can even flip a steak with it. Heck, I reckon you can even roast marshmallows on it. We'll have to try that later. Anyway, so with a one-handed action, you can see it's a tweezer-like action. Now this is made from a single piece of 6mm diameter, solid bar, spring stainless steel. And our unique design has these two little claws inward curving, which we like to refer as the huntsman's fangs. And that actually is one of the very first features that we wanted to incorporate, so that when you're picking up a small piece of timber like this, you're not obviously picking up big lumps of firewood like I've got behind me, but you can pick up, something that weighs 1-2 kilos. You're going to secure that, and these fangs are going to wrap around and grab into it, just simply like that. Now, just one-handed, I've just picked that up, and it's securely grabbing around. Those inward curving and sharp spikes on that secure that piece of firewood. I can move that onto the fire, or I can maneuver it around. I can just use it to rake over the coals as well, or push fire away. Now, if I want to pick up a piece of charcoal and reposition that, like I've got a camp oven down beside me on the fire pit here. Now, by the way, this fire pit isn't burning, so if you're using these fire tongs around a fire, of course you want to wear some gloves. Now, I often have a set of welders' gauntlets around, or at least, the very least, a set of leather rigger's gloves, just for heat resistance around a fire. Now, of course, you can use this one hand, and that's what it's designed for, but you can use two hands as well. And if you're lifting camp ovens that are quite heavy, you might want to use the two hands. So I've just demonstrated there lifting up a bit of firewood. Again, very, very simple, on or off the fire. Now I've got a camp oven beside me here. I've got a spud roasting, or pretend it's roasting because it actually isn't burning. And I just want to lift that spud up. So I can either use, again, just the fire tongs in that position, as you can see, neatly wraps around and cradles that spud in the jacket, and I can take that off the fire. I can flip a steak with it, whatever. Now, as you can see, in reverse, if I flick it over like that, you've got these two little, neat little scrolls or curvatures around there, and that will cradle just a very small piece of charcoal as well. So I can maneuver charcoal on and off the fire, or reposition it on my camp oven lid, and even stoke the fire and move them around with that as well. So now, lifting a camp oven, you can see side on here, those two prongs, or the sharp points facing up. You can see the space between both of those, and the ergonomic handle here that I'm just using one hand. And now this is not a very heavy camp oven. It weighs about probably 5-6 kilos. It's a 9-litre camp oven. If I want to pick up the whole camp oven, I simply engage those two, alternate side on, lift it up, and there you can see. Securely located in that neat little fold, you've lifted the whole camp oven up, and you can maneuver. Now you can, if it's a heavy camp oven, of course, you just grab it with two hands. You can hold the whole thing with two hands. And I'm moving that camp oven very, very safely around. So now if I want to just lift the lid up, so what I'll do is I'll just take those little bits of charcoal off, put them up here. Of course, they're not burning, so even down to the small little bit of charcoal, you can easily move it off with the Aussie Inferno fire tongs. Now, the camp oven lid is the next thing that this is designed for. So just simply standing back, I keep this down in a basically horizontal direction with the ground, and I've just one-handed come in underneath the lid. They'll spread out, and I've just lifted the lid off. Now, I can keep that lid relatively flat with all the coals on it if I had the coals on. So I'm lifting the lid off, and before I demonstrated lifting the whole camp oven up as well. So these are the Aussie Inferno fire tongs from slotmein, and they are a one piece, as I said, from 6mm diameter, stainless steel Spring steel, scissor action use, single-handed, of course two-handed, very, very light. They're about 650 mil long. They weigh about 400 grams, so they're very light. And the spring action in them allows them to spring out so that you can use that to clamp down onto firewood, like I said, charcoal. You can move the camp oven on or off as well. You can move things like spuds in their jacket off. So the Aussie Inferno fire tongs from Slot Me In. Now, anyone with a fire pit, chiminea, fireplace at home, whether it's a fire pit at home, camping, whatever, you're going to need a set of these. The Aussie Inferno fire tongs from Slot Me In. So there you go, folks, from Slot Me In. Cheers. Wash from Oz.